At
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of the Peach State Power Hour. That's Andy Stowe, Eddie from Acworth. I'm Harrison Reno. A loaded weekend of college football is in the books. Another weekend of the National Football League is also in the books, as unfortunately we have to discuss tonight. Brent Rollins will still be joining us tonight, a little after 8 p.m. We will be hitting on the Georgia-Alabama preview with Brent, touch a little bit on, get his thoughts on the Georgia-Tennessee matchup. That's coming up in about 30 minutes. So the format for tonight is going to be a little bit different, but I promise you, you're going to want to stick around and be here anyways. It's going to be well worth the wait. You're going to get Eddie's Falcons rant maybe a little bit sooner than you would if we were on the normal show. I can promise you he was already crashing out before we went on screen. So it's coming tonight. But before we get to the National Football League and the Falcons, the sorry state of a franchise that is, let's talk about this weekend of college football. No Georgia game to discuss. We will have plenty of that to discuss next weekend. But let's open up. There were several games this weekend. I was excited about this slate, even with Georgia being on bye week. There were a lot of good games to watch, and I think it turned out the way you all thought it would in terms of what games were entertaining and what games were not. Let's kick it off with what I thought. I was surprised this ended up not being the night game. But then again, you know, with these were set, the times were set in July. So I guess it's not so surprising what it was. But Auburn and Oklahoma, man, was that a football game? First real test for both of these sides. And I know Oklahoma played Michigan just a few weeks ago, but OU at home, Jackson Arnold homecoming game, and Oklahoma pulls out of there with a win at home in what honestly has sparked controversy, Eddie, because of how bad the officiating was at certain points in this game.
Yeah, good evening, guys. Glad to be back. Andy, Harrison, hope you guys are well. Again, all you guys that are joining the chat, please click like, share with your friends. Let's get us out there. I mean, we appreciate you guys logging on, but let's spread the word because we appreciate y'all watching. Yeah, I'm with you, Harrison. I mean, that was a joke. I despise Auburn, Andy, as I know you do. I despise Auburn. They 100% got jobbed on Saturday, okay? That little play they had that Oklahoma where the player was, quote-unquote, running off the field, and then he stopped and went wide open for the touchdown, and the refs were like, oh, well, there's a touchdown. And then, yesterday they came out, or was it today they came out with a statement and said, well, we screwed up. Sorry, Auburn. You lost the game, but we screwed up. And what did they lose by 7 points?
They lost
That's
by 7.
The ball game right there. Yeah.
And not to mention the fumble that wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, I hadn't even gotten to that. I mean, they had a fumble recovery for a touchdown, which looked good to me, and they overturned that. And then that Cam, who's the receiver for Auburn? Cam
Coleman.
Oh my God, that guy's unbelievable. But
we wanted
that little
trick
play. Yeah, I know. He's a beast. But that little double pass they made to Cam in the end zone, he goes up to catch it, and the Oklahoma guy is draped all over him. And if you notice, the ref turned to get away from him because he was about to get smashed by both of them, turns his head and misses an absolute interference call. I hate Auburn with every passion of my being. They got jobbed yesterday, and these refs and whoever's running the refs, they need to get this crap right because these games are too big and too important to come down to those type of things and to get them wrong. One more thing. I got to say this real quick because it's funny. Well, two more things. First of all, did y'all see the pic of Belichick and his girlfriend going around? Did y'all see that? And Jordan's out there hugging him pregame. There were some of the funniest comments, and one of them just blew my mind. This was the comment posted underneath that picture. Tiffany is asking if I can go to the movies with her and her mom after the game. Is that not the perfect comment for that? I about lost it when I saw that. Secondly, I'll go back to the Oklahoma and kick it to you, Andy. Basis on nothing preseason, everything we've watched thus far, Oklahoma has the 2 best wins in college football. I think they have a legitimate case to be the number 1 team in college football based on what we have watched thus far. Andy?
I want to comment on that. Do you think Oklahoma is the best team in college football?
Based on what we have seen and watched, Yes, they have the 2 best wins in all of college football.
Hey,
granted, they're at home. Granted, they got jobs. I don't care. Those are 2 humongous wins they have: Michigan and Auburn at home.
Yeah, no, wow. That's an argument. Yeah, I don't. After watching them yesterday versus Auburn, I don't know that I believe they're the best team in football, but I think
I agree with you, but based on what they've done.
Yeah. That's. I tell you, one game that kind of caught my eye, but I do want to mention the Clemson and Syracuse game. But a game that caught my eye, Indiana rolled Illinois 63-10, and Kurt Signetti, that guy's getting talked about a lot, and is he going to be the new coach of Clemson, the Florida Gators? There's going to be a lot of guys calling about him, and if you don't believe it, just Google him. He'll tell you to Google him. But I was watching that Clemson Syracuse game, and when Syracuse ended up winning it, but you saw Fran Brown say, you know what? We're going to go out here. We're going to do all we got to do to beat these guys. And they kept their foot on the gas the whole time. The saying, scared money don't make money. He went with it. And I hope Kirby Smart is, to me, the best head coach in college football. I hope Kirby learns from one of his ex-coaches in Fran Brown and says, you know what? This Saturday night when we kick it off against Alabama, scared money don't make money. Keep the foot on the gas, go out there, and if you get up by a touchdown or 2 touchdowns, you try to score another one. Because we saw in the Tennessee game, Georgia got a little lackadaisical, and it could have cost us the game. Keep the foot on the gas, go out there and beat them. Take the hint that Fran Brown do what he did and go out there and beat Alabama. So I was very impressed with Fran Brown and what they did to Clemson. And old Dabo, I don't know. The shelf life may be just about over for Dabo. I don't know if y'all heard the comments by Paul Feinbaum, but he said it's over. It's time for him to go. He's never going to do anything else there. Yes.
Wow.
So,
Andy, I love your points there, but I want to go back to what Eddie said, because as Steve just said in the comments, Oklahoma 2 best wins against Auburn and Michigan. That's laughable. Eddie, that's about as poor as Andy's 0-5 prediction for the Falcons. Now, granted, this weekend did not make that prediction look so poor. But I mean, yes.
So let me put that comment back up. Is he telling me that winning against Auburn and Michigan are not good wins? Is that what he's saying?
I mean, they're good wins, but they're not the best wins in college football.
Who else has played 2 teams like that?
Yeah,
Who else in the country has played 2 teams like that? Everyone else has played 2 patsies and 1 good team. They have played 2 ranked teams and beaten them.
And I don't, to be honest, in a few weeks, I don't know if Michigan's going to be ranked. But I mean, I would say those 2 wins.
They were ranked at the time. That's my point. That brings me back to how stupid this preseason ranking crap is. Okay, that's all that is. It's just stupid because these preseason rankings are based on what they did last year, which, as Kirby, we hear it every year. Last year has nothing to do with this year. Every team is completely different. The coaches are different. The staff is different. The players are different. The schedules are different. Everything is completely different. I'm just going on what I have seen on the field. Those are 2 really good wins. Now, I agree with Andy. The eye test, no. To me, Miami looked like one of the best teams in the country.
Well, Miami has beaten USF and Notre Dame. They've done, and of course, they beat
Florida. Now, is Florida any good? Florida, to me, is absolute garbage.
They are terrible.
But Miami's defense, that looked like a 2021 Georgia defense to me. They are bad-ass. That's a team you don't want to play right now.
Whoa.
Go ahead, Harrison.
Say that again. Say that again. Rewind. Say that again. Who looks like the 2021 Georgia defense?
Yes,
Miami defense looks really, really good. Not at that level, but
I was about to say
yeah. Ohio State's got a really good defense too, but I just saw Miami's got speed. They're hitting you in the mouth.
They just look line. Yeah, they do.
Okay, a little bit of exaggeration there. I understand, Andy, but they were impressive on defense.
I agree with that. I don't think they're Georgia level, 2021 Georgia level, but no, I think they're impressive. I will say the guy that's throwing the ball from the quarterback position, some of his throws are a little. They look very similar to last year. I'll say that. So
look, I guess my point is, as Andy said, Notre Dame or Miami has wins over Notre Dame and now in USF.
And the Gators.
But look, here's my take. 2 wins, even against Michigan, who I don't think is going to be a ranked team for very long. And Auburn, who may be a ranked team, still doesn't beat, in my opinion, what has to be one of the best, probably the best single win in college football, which was Ohio State in week 1. I get it. It's at home.
But how good's Texas?
And Texas hasn't looked great.
Okay, let me ask you this. Oklahoma. Who's better? Oklahoma's a better team than Texas.
If Oklahoma goes out and beats Texas, we can have a conversation about Oklahoma being the number 1 ranked team. But right now, until proven otherwise, you can't take that spot from Ohio State. I don't think you can. Because after that Texas win, they've handled their business.
Have they?
And I get it. They've played two patsies, as Eddie said. But to me,
that's what I'm getting at.
Two of the best teams in college football right now are Ohio State, and I'm not going to say they're the second best team, but they're one of the best. Miami's also looked the part so far, as Eddie has said. Good point here by CJ. Miami's opponent's record is 6-10. But I will say one of those extra losses on that record was Notre Dame's loss to Texas A&M, which is proving to be they've been a good team this year. Let's talk about
whoever wrote that is right. It's all going to sort itself out. You know, we got a long way to go. We're just prognosticating now, but it's fun to talk about, right? I mean,
and John Greenberg has a good point. Where does Georgia's win rank up? Because Tennessee is going to be a damn good football team. I think all 3 of us have Tennessee probably being a playoff team. That's one of the better wins in college football.
That's fair.
I'd say Georgia's win on the road at Tennessee's probably more impressive than both of Oklahoma's wins so far.
I think Georgia has the best win on the season so far. You go up to Knoxville with 105,000 people screaming at your – I know he's not I was going to say a freshman quarterback. He's not a freshman, but, first-year starter. He's in his 3rd game starting. And he goes up there and wins and does it in the dramatic fashion that he did it in with a patchwork right side of the offensive line. Georgia has the most impressive single win of the season. I get Eddie's point, though. And I'll push back on the Michigan thing. Blair Underwood, that dude – him and Justice Haynes, that's a combination.
Justice Haynes. Wow. He's something.
I think they're going to be strong. I think by the end of the year, they're going to be tough. And they're going to beat Ohio State. Maybe not this year, but they knock Ohio State off every year.
Where's that game this year? Remind me. I think it's at Michigan.
It's at Michigan.
Yeah.
They beat them.
All right. Can we all agree on this? We'll just end it right here. Florida, Utah, Illinois, and Clemson are just bad football teams. Can we just all agree on that?
Illinois was way, way overrated. I mean, but this is a yearly thing. These second-tier Big Ten teams get put in the top 10, in the top 15, then they play a team with a pulse, and they get smacked. Now, granted, it's kind of funny that Cignetti was smoking a pack of cigarettes at halftime of that football game. Smoking if you got him, Cignetti.
That guy's great. I really like that guy. He's something else.
Well, is he going to be the Florida Gators head coach?
Ooh. All right. I want to hit this comment from CJ, and then I want to talk about what you just said right there. Real quick. All right. CJ said if Penn State wins this weekend, they move to 1. Georgia beats Bama, they slide to 2, and Ohio State moves back to 3. Then if in 2 weeks Miami beats FSU on the road, they move to 3. Ohio State moves to 4. I think if Penn State beats Oregon, I think they have a really good shot, like you said, to move to number 1. If Georgia beats Bama, again, I probably tend to agree with you. They move up. I don't know if they go to 2.
They won't. No.
Because I think Ohio State will take that spot still.
Ohio State will be 2. That's right.
But again, if Miami beats FSU on the road, I tend to agree with you. They will move up. I don't know if they'll move to 3. It just depends on kind of how this Georgia Bama game plays out. All right, next.
That's a great comment, but Penn State will get credit for beating Oregon. If we beat Bama, we won't get credit for it because Nick Saban's no longer the coach. I promise you.
And they also lost to FSU.
And they've already got a loss.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So it won't be as meaningful as it used to be.
Let's talk about
the media just slobbers all over Penn State for whatever reason. They just have this thing. James Franklin's finally the guy. Every year it pans out he's not the guy. I mean,
they're getting ridiculous. Beat this week. Dan Lanning.
I agree. I think Lanning's going to boat race them.
I think so too. He's going to put something on them that they don't know what's going to happen. So he's mad. Dan Lanning's mad. So
let's touch on this. Andy brought up a good point. when Florida moves on from Billy, and I think it's a win, not an if. I think
it's coming. It's coming. Yeah.
Who are the top candidates for this job? Realistic candidates. If you're the athletic director at Florida right now, realistically, who are you trying to hire? Because Dan Lanning's not leaving Oregon to come to you.
Not there. No.
You may not have a shot at Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss. No. You're definitely going to want to go after him.
I don't think they can get him now.
Who's Florida going to hire? Like, that's my question. Who is Florida getting? Who's the top candidate for this job? Is it Alex Golesh? Is it the guy that put the nail in the Billy Napier coffin? Is that your top candidate?
I don't think he's the top guy because I saw my buddy who loves me, John Deere Green, says Dabo. Here's the thing. I sent that in a text to Eddie and everyone the other day. I was like, Dabo, the coach of Florida Gators. Dabo can build a program. He brings instant credibility. You put that guy at the podium, 2 national championships, won 6 of 8. He'll tell you everything he's done. He'll list it out for you in the press conference. That's instant credibility. But I do think, and I see Marvin Charles said Brent Key, no way possible. Brent Key is their version of Kirby. He loves it at Tech. He's not leaving that. He's a Tech guy. No,
would be something they should go after. But yeah, you make a phone call, but they won't get him.
Yeah.
But I would say it's going to either be Alex Golesh, who I think that's who it'll ultimately end up being, because I think he has the Florida ties kind of now, and he's building that program. I think it'll be Golesh, but I think you got to look at Cignetti. Yeah, I think you got to at least discuss it. And I think Dabo's a guy you can talk to, because I do think the shelf life has expired for Dabo and Clemson. And I think he's looking for a fresh start. And you've seen it when coaches start yelling at people in the media and we've done this, and they'll send me down the street, blah, blah,
yelling
blah.
At fans, Tyler.
Yeah. So I think Dabo is, I think he's starting to wonder if there's life out there, and Florida's going to make the change. And I do believe, I think they would make the change now if they felt that it would do anything, but because they got Texas and ATM coming up, they're not going to do it. So I could see them doing it after Mississippi State, and we have a new coach coaching against us. But it ain't going to be.
I made that prediction last weekend. Do y'all think my prediction holds that we ain't playing against Billy Napier in Jacksonville?
I'm with you, Eddie. So. If he somehow makes it to Jacksonville, he's not leaving Jacksonville on the team plane. There's no chance. With their schedule before Jacksonville, there's a chance they go winless. There's a chance they lose every single game.
Okay,
up until Georgia.
Let's run it real quick. They got number 10 Texas. This is in the swamp. They got Texas in the swamp. Texas wins, right?
Mm-hmm.
They go out to Texas A&M the week after that. They're probably going to get boat raced by Texas A&M. Then they got Mississippi State. That is
my bad, John.
That was a gimme. That was a gimme before the year started. That's not a gimme now.
They very well could be 1-6 coming in to the cocktail party.
Yep.
So.
Real quick, because we do have to hit Falcons, and whatever we don't get through before Brent humps on, we'll kick on afterwards. Thoughts and reactions to the Arch Manning staring down the Sam Houston State linebacker on his first touchdown run of the day. Thoughts and reactions to that, gentlemen?
Go ahead.
I have a question and a thought. Why is that not a penalty? That's a definition of taunting. Why was a penalty not thrown? I mean, that was ridiculous. 2, he looks like a clown. I mean, I wrote that. Sam Houston State. Is that who they played? Am I getting that right? Okay, great. Congratulations, Arch. You showed who you really are. That was ridiculous.
It's sad when you've played this bad the whole year, and then you're going to play a high school team, and now you're going to talk junk. Like, come on, give me a break. He's
a media creation because of his last name. That's what he is.
Yeah. That's
and I love how the narrative, Chase Daniels started it on Twitter with the video, because he was calling that game. He said in the meetings that he had pregame that all of the Texas defense and his Arch's teammates were saying he's back. That he's back this week, that he looks like himself again. And he goes out there and does that, and everyone's like, oh, he's back. He's back. But like others have said, like Eddie has said, like Andy just said, prove it against a team that's not just an FCS program a few years ago. Like,
yeah,
cool, show it on the field. They'll have a chance to do it in the swamp versus a Florida defense that, albeit they lost that game on Saturday, looked pretty impressive versus Miami.
Florida has a
Not a
good defense.
pushover on defense.
Yeah,
Now, granted, their offense is a pushover. It looks like right now because that quarterback has no confidence in how could he. But yeah, that's a rough going. All right. Let me go ahead and dig my grave and go ahead and disappear before we talk about the Falcons. We'll be right back. All right. No, I'm joking. Let's talk about it. Although we don't have to talk about it, but we will talk about it. Gentlemen, Falcons lose, get shut out on the road at Carolina in what Eddie said pre-show was the worst game he's seen from the Falcons since 28-3. Was the most embarrassing performance since 28-3. Let's start there.
Take it away, Eddie. Take it away, Eddie.
I might put him solo shot for this so I can hide.
Well, I tweeted out after halftime, that's the worst half of football I think I've ever seen. And the second half basically said, hold my beer, because that was the worst game I've ever seen. And that was and you know what's funny, Harrison, is I made fun of you last week, and rightly so, because you're so cute. You're a young kid and you think the Falcons have some promise and all this. And I told you to slow your roll. It was cute, but slow your roll. Now, I'm a sucker too. I'll admit it, because what did I say to you guys after last Sunday?
Oh, y'all were praising that team. Oh, blah, blah,
now
blah.
What did I say, Andy? I said I was proud to be a Falcons fan.
Yeah, I bet you're not.
That lasted 6 days. Okay, 6 days. They kicked us in the nuts again, and they lived to do it. Can I just go over this real quick? The Falcons' possessions in the first half: missed field goal, punt, missed field goal, punt, end of half. And that end of half, if you watched it, was coaching. That was atrocious. They had no timeouts because Raheem had been doing this because they can't get the play calls in. And then in the post-game press conference, he says, well, our headsets weren't working, but that's not an excuse. But he said that 5 times, that the headsets weren't working, and that's not an excuse. So guess what? It is an excuse. That's what he's saying, basically, okay? And then the special teams, are you kidding me? They had 2 missed field goals. They couldn't field. It seemed like when they kicked off, they bobbled the ball, they fell down in the end zone, and then on a punt return, one of the own Falcons guys ran into the punt returner and basically tackled him. I mean, it was a comedy of errors today. I am just I don't know why I get so wrapped up in this team, but I sat down and watched them and said, we're going to go 2-1 today because we're playing the Carolina Panthers, and we lost 30-0. And Carolina is not a good football team. They're not. And we got smacked in the mouth by them. I mean, it's just my daddy's Falcons, and it'll never stop, ever.
You know, last week there was a little hope. I'd predicted 0-5, and they did end up beating Minnesota. So there was a little bit of hope.
1-4.
Yes. So I was 1 game off, I believe, because they're not going to beat Washington. Buffalo will laugh at these guys. James Cook is going to run up and down the field on the Falcons. But no, you look at, there was one highlight of the game, and that's Bijan Robinson. The rest of the team is not much. The offense can't do anything. Bijan Robinson is a stud. I was mad we drafted him. I wanted Jalen Carter.
Mm-hmm.
A guy's a stud. He is getting wasted. I mean, the Falcons, how many times did he touch the ball? He had the ball 13 times and 5 times, 18 times. So, and he went over 100 yards. He's got to touch it more, and something is going to have to get changed. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the offensive coordinator. We know it's the owner sucks and the head coach sucks, and we get it, but it's not surprising. I've seen it for my whole life. There's been like 3, 4, 5 good years. Outside of that, they suck. So
guys, they benched Michael Penix for a quarterback who's as old as I am.
Yeah,
That's
but that quarterback went 5 for 7. We'll say that. So
yeah, and he couldn't throw the ball further than 8 yards because he has a noodle arm and he ain't worth a crap. He's done. I mean, just think about that for a second. That's what happened today. The guy was a baller the first 2 games, Penix. He has a horrible day, and they benched him, which I thought, and Raheem said, oh, it was to keep him from getting injured, much like they did in the preseason. Keep the guys from getting injured. How'd that work out with your right tackle? jackass. I mean, it's ridiculous what they tell us. We're not stupid, Raheem. We know what's going on here. This franchise is a joke, and until Arthur Blank sells or moves on from this franchise, it will never change.
He's not going to sell it, and he's not going to move on. I mean, he'll eventually die as the owner, but I mean, is his son?
I was going to say that. I was trying to be nice.
I mean, he's going to.
I wasn't going to say until he croaks.
Oh, I mean, facts are facts.
He is 83.
Yeah, I mean, good God, the man can barely move. You see him out there, but like, I don't know. I don't know what his family will do with it, and maybe they eventually sell it. I
That's
don't know.
The problem. The family's just going to take it over. And we're going to be right back here in 2 years doing the same crap again and again and again.
And that comment about Jordan Davis, that guy is the biggest freak alive. And and just so you guys know, I'm short. I'm 5'8" with shoes. I weigh 160 pounds. I was in the elevator with Jordan Davis one day. I was scared to death, not because I thought he was actually like mad or anything, but he was 3 of me. He's the biggest human being I've ever seen in my life. He is just a massive dude. So
and the way he acts, probably the nicest human.
Oh, he's the nicest guy. Yeah, he's always smiling. And but yes, he was so big. But yeah, that guy is a freak of nature.
What do we have? 4 minutes till we get Brent on? I mean, do we have to continue talking about this stupid franchise? Jeez.
Well, you know what? We can talk a little GHSA because I did look up some.
Do some scores, Andy.
Real quick. Yeah, go ahead and hit that real quick because I'm queuing something up, but it's going to take me a minute. So go ahead and hit us with the scoreboard update.
Okay, well, so some of y'all know I'm from Franklin County, and our lines typically aren't very good. But this week they beat West Hall 60-0. I don't know how good West Hall is. It doesn't matter. I didn't think we could score that many points on the season,
amazing.
much less in one game.
Good for y'all. What's your record? Andy?
I think they're 3-1. I think. So,
wow.
Yeah. Jackson County beat Clark Central 64-14. That's Clark Central. It's not going so hot for those guys. North Oconee, the Machine, Brent Rollins, shout out. They beat East Forsyth 41-6. That team is just a powerhouse.
Yeah, they're going to win. They may win back to back. That's crazy how good they are.
Prince Avenue Christian, they beat Westside 59-34. That's big. The Fighting Eddie from Acworth, Marist, beat Druid Hills 55-0. Wow, that's impressive. Then
Paul Etheridge again on the OC, right?
Dude,
right,
and he said they were going to suck. How about that?
The Fighting Eddie's putting up a fight this week.
And then Harrison beat Campbell 45-20, and they're now 5-0. So they're coming in. And then some of the schools
right there.
That's right. Some of the schools from our guest. And remember, if you want your school shouted out, put it in the chat and I'll post it in here. But we had Pickens. They beat Dawson's County 34-23. Calhoun County, they lost to Southwest Georgia Academy 44-0. That was a little tough game. Troup County beat Fayette County 44-0. And Cedar Shoals lost to Walnut Grove 6-9. That's that old Georgia Missouri score from a couple years ago that got Mark Rick fired. So, but,
I was at that game.
I was too. I was like, that's the worst game I've ever seen in person. So
I'll never forget it, Andy. Just real quick, I got to tell you this quick story. We won 9-6, and I was as mad as I've ever been leaving the Georgia game. And my wife said, "What are you so angry about? We won that game." And I said to her, "Did you watch that football game?
Terrible.
That was awful.
It was terrible.
That was an awful win. I don't care that we won that game. That's how bad it was."
Yeah, it was terrible.
You're right. That game led to the downfall of Mark Rick. That was the beginning of the end right there. That was awful.
Well, before Brent gets on, I wanted to cue this up a different way, but I couldn't. So I had to find other ways to do it. And I did it.
What you got?
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Eddie's celebration when the Falcons win next week.
When he's, up in when he's, up in.
Courtesy
I'm
of
not doing that
show.
when now if the Dogs win, I'll do it for that, but I'm not doing that for the Falcons.
Are you going to pull a whatever old crazy Pat McAfee getting a Speedo jumping off a high
we getting Eddie in a Speedo to jump off the high board?
Gosh.
Yeah, I may not adjust my junk on national TV like he did, but geez.
The Eddie pump is what we'll call that. Yeah. It was Eddie's version of Zachariah Branch's touchdown celebration. I don't think he realized in real time what he had just did, like what he had just given us. He didn't think we'd go back and find it, but we found it. I wasn't the first one to find it. Apparently, Paul beat me to it.
He did.
Yeah, Paul Maharry pointed it out, and he said he watched it on replay several times. So,
John Green, I do want to say, if you are wanting to get on the show, you can do the post game overreaction show. The guys, Eddie's on there a lot. I'm on there a lot. Harrison,
honestly, John, just so we can find out your identity, we might have you on here at some point. Might be our one and only.
Send him the link right now, John. Do you
not right now because we don't
have time because we got
Brent ready.
Time.
Okay,
Brent's coming on here in a minute.
Okay, well,
Eddie might pull a hamstring. I hope not.
Not
but if
doing
he does,
I might pull a tricep, but not a hamstring.
We're going to trade him if he does get injured. We'll trade him like he'll trade Ronald Acuna. By the way, we're going to ask Brent that.
But John, if you do want to get on the post game overreaction show, you can get on the camera. You can just talk on the audio, either one. But me and Eddie are always on there. It's Roddy Nabolsi, Paul Maharry, Dane Young. All the guys are on there just talking. So you can definitely get on there and you can tell me how bad I suck. You can tell Eddie how he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. And he was actually
that would be ridiculous, as Eddie Shirt says.
But yeah,
and Mike Bennett's right. I mean, he's 69. I'm 79. That's when I started when I was 9 years old. So it's never going to change. He's 100% right.
Yeah. But yeah, before Brent is Brent in the background.
We got Brent now. Do we want to go ahead?
Let's get that guy on because he's got to tell us how bad this game's going to be Saturday night.
Yeah, let's get the
Dr. Rollins.
What's up?
What's going
on?
How
are you doing?
Still looking for the clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose. So I'm hoping it's going to be posted back there one day.
One of these days.
I'm going to buy it and send it to you. I'm going to buy one and send it to you.
I need to find like Etsy or something like that.
Oh, don't worry. They're out there.
That you can make it yourself or something.
They're out
there. Brent, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We got a lot to get through. When we first sat down in a Zoom meeting and we talked about what we want to do with this show, your name was one of the first names out of their mouth. That was not one of their own.
Cool.
So we appreciate you for coming on here and joining us here tonight. Everyone knows we're here to get you to preview Georgia, Alabama, also to get your quick thoughts on Georgia, Tennessee. But as a way to kind of get you warmed up, there's been a debate on this show since I joined, maybe even before.
Oh yeah.
Should the Braves trade Ronald Acuna Jr. this offseason before his contract expires? Brent Rollins, I will not tell you who has which side, but we want to know the professor, the doctor needs the diagnosis. Should the Braves trade Ronald Acuna this offseason? You settle this debate that has never ended.
How many more years has he got?
All right, so his contract expires. He will be a unrestricted free agent in 2029. So that means he has But so he has two club options for 2027 and 2028. So we will have him for at least 3 years.
Yeah, no, don't trade him. Don't trade good players.
Okay.
I said to listen to offers. I didn't say to trade him outright.
I will pull that clip right now. I will pull that clip.
No, I want to trade him before he walks because he's going to walk. We're going to get nothing for him. We've seen it. So
I would give it at least 2 more years.
That's fair.
Yeah,
I'm with you there. Give him 2 more years.
Once Sale's gone, I'm gonna say who else? Ozzy would be gone before 2 years potentially, right?
Yeah, I think Ozzy's contract. I can find out, but I think his contract's
so I give it a couple more. Give it a couple more years.
Okay,
I'm not ready to turn him off my TV every night, at least when they're decent. Though I feel like I jinxed it this year because I actually bought the whole FanDuel Sports Network thing.
Same thing.
You're the reason. You're the reason.
and it's like the moment I purchased that thing, it was downhill.
Do you think Ronald Acuna gets through all of next year without being injured? That's the question. He doesn't seem to be able to do that.
Yeah,
but how many
impossible to
players
predict.
play 162 games?
He's only playing like 100 though. So.
I think they should move him to the left field.
Okay.
I think he needs to not play right field anymore. He should be like left field DH because he plays too recklessly and his body's obviously just not built to to do that stuff. It's almost like he's too athletic in a way for that sport.
He's starting to break down, it seems like, and he's still young. I mean, he's only 27, but.
Well, I'll start it this way. Brent, tell everybody how people can find you, follow you. I see you got your Twitter handle out there, but Steve Ball, Get Ball, the podcast you're doing now with David Pollock, and then, of course, on UGA Sports is behind the paywall now, but Film Don't Lie, just absolutely tremendous information. So tell us what you've been doing and what you've liked about what you've been doing recently.
That would be fun, by the way, John. Eddie Racing Free. But so the podcast with Pollock is that's 3 days a week now.
Yeah,
and we've been actually and even like separate recordings that we do for like the picks, and last couple of weeks we've been doing a little individual video on a different team. We did Utah and then we did Missouri, kind of a hey, these are teams to look at that are kind of on the up and coming type deal. So yeah, Monday night. This week's supposed to be fun. It should be fun. Joel Klatt, Wednesday, and then potentially Lane Kiffin.
I heard that. I was
later in the week, and I when Davey brought it up, I was like, that would probably be I would be more nervous to interview him than potentially anyone in existence.
Really?
Because you never know. Like, is he serious? Is he joking? Is he? How do you take him? Yep. Hopefully you just talk ball and he rolls with it. But he would be one where I'd just be like, is he being serious here or is he not?
Yeah, you can never tell him.
It'll be fun.
He's a soundbite waiting to happen. You never know what he'll say.
So we'll see if that happens. I mean, may or may not. We'll see.
I will say your show's great. I do. I watch it. I love watching the recap on. Yeah, I mean, it's good. It's okay.
Okay.
I love watching the recap because I don't get to watch it live, but I watch every episode like the next morning. So no, it's great. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. There's Brent and David Pollock break it down. So it's great.
It's such a unique thing because obviously before all these years, I would just watch Georgia. Like the other games were just sort of, relax watch, casual watch, that sort of thing. And when you do that and you got to talk, like I need to know that Penn State's edge guy is a true freshman that's really good kind of thing. And it's one where that's a whole different animal. And it's a skill set that he's obviously sort of mastered.
Yeah.
All these years of having to watch multiple games and details and things like that I'm still working on. I will say that. So I'm trying to find that rhythm and get it to where, because just seeing all the games in a day and taking notes and trying to remember exactly, because you can make points that don't make people insanely mad at you, like all that sort of stuff that goes with it.
Yeah.
Especially when because people are passionate about the Oklahoma and Auburn. By the way, those folks, chirped at each other like crazy all week in comments and things like that. So it's fun. It's a lot of fun, and just hopefully get better each week.
Well, that's awesome.
That's great. It's
well,
great.
Again, get behind the firewall, pay for UGA Sports, and get in there and see Film Don't Lie. It's fantastic. Brent Rollins and Dane Young do a great job of breaking down offense, defense. I've learned so much from you guys, and I thank you so much for what you've done for me, Brent, just as a fan, because I'm not an analyst like yourself. But let's get back to Georgia and talk about last week, because I want to hear your thoughts. Just your overall takeaway from the UT game, and I'll break it down it this way. What concerned you the most in the game? And what encouraged you the most in the football game?
Concern is something that I will have likely the entirety of the season, and that's the secondary and lack of pass rush, the combination of that. Okay. Because if you have one that's great, the other can maybe not be as great. Or if you have the secondary that's great, it gives you longer time to get home. I don't know that either is really that good. So that's one that kind of concerns me, and it showed up that way against Tennessee. The sort of positive thing, though, is the playmakers that Georgia has, and that Gunner's not going to be phased in any sort of moment.
Yeah,
and that was at home. He was phased. You could see it. You could see his brain working by him patting the ball and saying yes or no to certain things. So that was encouraging to see him, because it looked like he just relaxed and played and did his thing.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I wanted to ask you about, Brent. It's talking about the defensive line. They're not getting much pressure. We're not getting sacks. And then when you saw at the end of the game, they sort of got a little pressure, and it obviously helped out at the end. So what can they do? Is there something schematically that they can change, or do they just not have pass rushers that are good enough to be that force that we're missing on the edge?
I mean, I don't see the individual that you can just say, hey, go line that guy up on the edge and he's going to go beat the tackle. Like Chris Cole, I think, can potentially do that, but obviously he plays majority of the time inside. And you'll see him occasionally outside, especially on third down. And that because Gabe Harris looks thicker this year to me, looks more physical.
Yeah, he is.
Plays the run better, kind of playing that Michael role, but it doesn't look as twitchy and explosive off the edge as a rusher. I mean, there's always the scheme discussion. There's always the, folks on the vent. Hey, this is a scheme thing. They want the QB in the pocket. They want to, keep guys there. We want to save it for the third game. All that. I know one thing. I watched Texas Tech on Saturday at noon. They got four dudes that just straight up kick your tail. Yeah. Miami, they got two edge guys that just kick your butt every single play. And you have to, everything that you have to do revolves around figuring out what those two players and blocking those two players, or for Texas Tech now blocking all four of those guys because they're all good. I think differently in that regard. I think you need to have those guys now, especially in today's game where you need game-changing plays because offenses have gotten good at being efficient. The throwing is so much more efficient. Guys are 65% completion is kind of normal. It's not like before when you could play that sort of team defense and force guys into, force them into short throws, force them into do things. Now everybody can kind of do, offenses has evolved to the point where you just got to have guys who can go win. And that does concern me, but it can all change. I think Alabama's offensive line is one that can be beaten.
Yeah.
But, we'll see. That's what's going to be great about Saturday night.
Brent, I guess the main question I have for you, because we talked, I know Eddie asked you about the secondary, kind of touched on that right off the top. How much of Tennessee's success kind of comes down to, on Saturday, comes down to their unique schemes, their wide splits, the stuff only Tennessee really does in the schedule? Because outside of Tennessee, the closest thing schematically is Mississippi State on Georgia's schedule right now. How much of what they did do you see being able to just be not replicated exactly by, say, an Alabama or some of these more pro-style offenses? Or was it really just Tennessee just whooped Georgia's butt in the back end for all four quarters?
Okay, so a little bit of pushback on the Tennessee and their offense. And this is – and I read some comment. I think it was a coach I saw after the game or even leading up to the game talking about how after the Ohio State game, they all looked at each other in the mirror and was like, hey, we have to evolve. And they have. They 100% have evolved their offense. The quarterback moves in different spots. The ball is thrown at different spots. And that was the thing about Ohio State when Ohio State played him. Like some of the Ohio State guys reached out to me that I know, and I'm like, hey, you just have to basically have players in certain areas, and the ball will come to you because that's the only place the ball gets thrown. Now that's different. So the scheme thing and some of the things that they did early, especially those first couple drives when they're using the tight end, using play action, crossing routes, things like that, that was not really normal for them. So I think that got Georgia early. But when you think about any team, when they got a big, good wide receiver like Auburn has with Cam Coleman, hey, play action fake, find a way to get that guy one-on-one and go throw the deep ball. That 250 yards worth of touchdowns, two different touchdowns are just that, or just go balls that you played horribly. So it's some of it's Tennessee. I think the tempo is obviously unique to them.
Yeah.
But more of it was just they found ways to get matchups that they wanted, and they won.
Well, those two touchdowns, Brent, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm talking about the one that was tipped right by Dalen Everett, I think it was, and then Ellis Robinson on the other, where he tried everything he could. He couldn't find the ball, and then he tried to interfere and tackle the guy, and he missed that. So those are minor tweaks, I would think, that they can fix, and those were just I'm not taking anything away from Tennessee. The receivers made great plays there, but those are two kind of freaky, if you want to call them that, plays on 14 points, right? That's all
coin flip plays.
correctable.
Yeah, coin flip plays. But
right.
If the Ellis one didn't bother me as much. And I was two reasons. His bothered me more because of how he played the guy at the line of scrimmage. He didn't play the guy at the line of scrimmage very well. But Aguilar does something that's unique. He puts insane amount of air on the football and the deep balls. Like even like the one that he threw against Syracuse in the dome, like that thing was going to bring rain. It was so high that he dropped it in the bucket, but he just puts extra air in the ball. And just that timing mechanism, even when the receiver's putting their hands out and Ellis is like, oh, the ball's here. No, it's because of the trajectory. It's a little late. So that one I don't worry as much. The Harris one, that's just the dude barely touched his shoulder and he completely fell out of the route.
Yeah.
Like that's just not being very physical. And that's one, like I think that guy might be, and I hate to pick on one player, but I'm just not a fan. Like, and you have to be physical at the catch point, especially in college football. And with the way receivers are, Brazel, Coleman, like some of the guys that are going to be on Georgia's schedule, Ryan Williams is not as physical a guy, but he's a great judger of the ball, contour of the body, that sort of thing. So you have to move his body with him. Yeah. So like you got to be able to play the ball in the air, and that was just not good. And it's one that you've seen over and over again already. Mm-hmm. So it's like, okay, are you just not good at it? So who knows? I do think Ellis is still their best man-to-man corner.
So do you think
Everett's their best off corner to me? Like, hey, prevent the deep ball, tackle well, keep everything in front, but just straight man-to-man, I think that's Ellis.
You think DeMello Jones needs to start getting some more playing time over Daniel Harris, or is it someone else? Dominic Kelly.
I don't know that it's that.
Okay.
I think it's just a combination of keep rotating, and if you see one, and a lot of it's matchup with the receivers themselves.
Yeah.
Because like if you had to, now Texas A&M's not on the schedule, but if you had to go play Texas A&M right now, I don't know that Daniel Harris should see the field because those guys are so quick and fast that I think he would be put in a blender versus somebody like Tennessee that's going to play vertical more so. So who knows? I really don't know what the answers are there. To me, that's the biggest question coming into Saturday night is can they cover well enough because Alabama has legit receivers.
And I said Dalen Everett. I apologize. It was Daniel Harris. I'm sorry talking about that other play. So apologies. Go ahead, Harrison.
We just talked about obviously the back end with the passing game. Let's talk about the run game. I think with this matchup, obviously last 2 years, Jalen Milroe has been the X factor in the Alabama run game.
Yeah.
Now you don't have a design quarterback run. They'll still run Ty Simpson a little bit, but obviously it's not going to be Superman type stuff. How confident are you in Georgia's front seven at being able to at least slow down this Alabama run game that we assume Jam Miller is going to be back for Saturday? Yeah. I know Bama hasn't been all too impressive in the run game so far this year, but how do you see this Georgia front seven stacking up with this Alabama front?
It's the matchup I like the best. I would borderline dare them to run and play as light as boxes as possible, especially on first down. Because, you guys have seen the numbers that I put up, and I wrote a whole article on it on the offseason that you can actually now access. The site is updated to where you can look at the old articles, at least last year's articles. But Milroe was 14 of 15 for well over almost 300 yards or something like that. And a touchdown on first down.
Yeah.
And that's where all the good teams have just, especially last season at least, just murdered them. They have murdered them on first down. So I would be off quarters, light box, dare them to run, dare them to just play. Because look at how they played Florida State. That first drive against Florida State, what'd they have? I think it was double-digit runs. It was a 15, 16-play drive that they just walked the ball gradually down the field against Florida State. But after that, they're like, "Oh, we're a throwing team. We got to start throwing it."
Yeah,
make them be patient with the running game because I actually do like the matchup. You watch even them against Alabama; they don't move. They just don't, or against Wisconsin. Sorry, but they didn't move people very well against Wisconsin. I like the matchup in the running game and tackling. I think Georgia has at least through 3 games, Georgia tackle is one of the best tackling teams in the country. Again, kind of getting back to where they were last year was not good. Alabama's actually been one of the 10 worst in the Power 4 in terms of missed tackle percentage. So that's an advantage there too. But you mentioned Milroe. I actually was thinking about that today because I watched the first half of the Falcons, and I'm like,
why?
I can't watch any more of this. I'm going outside and getting some yard work done. Got a lot of weeding done, things like that. And I was thinking about that, how the teams last year versus the team this year, both of these teams are kind of flipped. Like Georgia has weapons this year, and they have a quarterback that is a part of the running game, much like Alabama and Milroe last year.
Mm-hmm.
Alabama this year has more of a drop back guy. Georgia had a drop back guy last year. Now Simpson is athletic, can move, can get make some plays.
Yeah, he's got.
But it's very similar in terms of a flip with how this is from last year to this year.
So do you think that's Georgia's key is basically 4 men in the box and 7 out and just go with it and force them? Is that like?
Well, I mean, they're gonna take their play action shots. That's just how they live. And you've got to find ways to get to him and not let him just camp out in the pocket.
Right.
And
you can't just sit there.
Bernard and Williams, because if Bernard and Williams have time, they're going to get open.
Yeah.
They're
Ron Williams will find a spot. He'll find a spot.
Yes.
So I guess my question to you, Brent, because obviously we know Thomas Castellanos had a great game for FSU in that opener. What was it that FSU was doing defensively that I guess in your I don't know how much you've been able to watch. I know you were definitely able to watch the week 1, but I don't know how much time you've been able to diagnose exactly what they were doing. What was it that FSU, was it anything FSU was doing that you think Georgia tries to replicate this weekend in terms of the defensively?
Third down stuff, maybe, but that's one of the things. Like FSU defensively, Tony White's really good. Their defensive coordinator, and the way he plays, very amoeba defense kind of in a way, but a lot of just different looks, a lot of walked up guys, even on early downs, a lot of just variety of looks that isn't necessarily a part of Georgia's DNA defensively, but it will be on third down. And I think you're going to see it. So to me, get to third down. As long as you get to third down, I think Georgia's going to have a lot more consistency and do well in this game, as long as they get Alabama to third down, unlike last year. Because they got, I think it was, of those 14 completions that Milroe had, I want to say like 13 of them ended up in a first down or a touchdown. Gosh, so like you're getting big plays on first down last year. It was unreal. So get them to third down, and I think Georgia actually takes care of business on third down.
Well, you talked about the defense and what we can do in this game, Brent, but I want to talk about the offense a little bit and what Georgia can do. So Bama's rushing the ball about 124 yards a game. And obviously that's not without Jam Miller. He's going to be back, so that may be a difference, but we'll take that as it is. Georgia's 209 per game. Okay, they're really running the ball well, and Kirby made that a priority in the offseason. It's already started to pay off. So do you think this game kind of can be 3 yards in a cloud of dust where Georgia takes the air out of the football, runs the hell out of it, keeps Ty Simpson on the sideline, and we win this game like, I don't know, 14-10, that kind of thing? Is that, well, okay, you're already shaking your head no. Go ahead.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think you can keep it that low. Okay. I think there's just the athletes on each team are too good. They're going to, like Branch, Colby Young, Thomas, who we haven't seen a lot
Ryan
of.
Williams.
Williams, Bernard, those guys are going to make plays. And there's going to be points on the board because of them. The key would be field goals, like forcing the field goals. If you can keep them, those big plays from being touchdowns and force field goals, okay. But the running game you talked about, that to me has been just a glorious thing to see. Because I want to say we did this show 2 years ago, before the 23 season, or before even before last season, before the season last season. Hey, what's the number one thing I think Georgia can be better? It's diversity in the running game.
Yeah.
Before last season, and it just wasn't. And this year, you've seen so much diversity in the run game. And I think that's one where it's a combination of a lot of things. It's you got new coaches that are there, like the new offensive line assistant that's there from the NFL. I forget his name.
John.
You've got sort of new people in the building in that regard.
John Rosher.
And it's something.
John Rosher. Yeah.
So you've got, and then you also have a directive from your head coach. Hey, we better be better at this. You have to be better at this. So I bet a lot of them, like they're studying different run games. They're how can we incorporate this into our system? How can we incorporate that to our system? And some of the things they've done in these first 3 games are things that they haven't done since either one ever in the time that I've been watching, so since like 2018, or 2 since 2019 with Coley. As much as crap as he gets for the overall offense, and there were issues there. He actually had a very diverse running game that year with Swift, and they did a lot of unique things in the run game. But that's where I just keep doing that. Keep doing what you're doing. And they're so close. And I hope that Gaston's healthy enough to play and healthy enough to play right tackle.
Yeah.
Because I think he should. But either way, if you have him that is, if you have some version of him and a healthier version of Ernest Green, Glover at right guard, like at least to where it's solidified in a way, and it's not a turnstile of a rotating turnstile of different players. They're this close in the running game to being very explosive. Like hopefully over the bye week, they did some self-evaluation. I think that's what they do oftentimes more than anything is self-evaluation in those instances. And like hey, go to Nate Frazier. Nate, let's just be a little more patient.
Yep.
A little more patient.
Stop dancing so much.
For the record, Brent Rollins, the doctor, just called for Juan Gaston and Dontrell Glover on the right side, tackle and guard, 2 freshmen. Did I not just hear that correctly?
He did. And that is my question. I was going to ask you, Brent, what do they need to do on that right side? Is it start the 2, considering they're healthy? Is it start the 2 freshmen on the right side? Because that right side of the offensive line cannot pass block right now. So what do they do?
Yeah, I think they're the 2 best players.
Okay.
They're the 2 best. I would almost say they're the 2 best athletes that they have right now.
Agreed.
Like on the offensive line.
Well, let me ask you one thing.
Drew Bobo's a really solid, playing really well. Yeah. Like highest graded center in the SEC right now, playing really well. Freeling has been okay.
Yeah.
But solid, and he's not a minus by any means. Micah Morris is not a minus in any way, because that's the key when you look at offensive line play. Just don't be a guy that's a minus. Don't be someone that a team can attack to no end. That hey, we have to at least get creative and work on the whole unit, as opposed to hey, we're just going to put this one guy in conflict or put our best guy on this one guy and we're going to go win. As long as you're not a minus there. And Gaston's been his issues in the first couple games were, to me, more mental than they're more physical. Like he's physically the most talented lineman they have already.
So his it'll just come in time is basically what you're saying, just learning.
I think so. I think he's a first round pick in 3 years.
All right, well, let me ask you this. So we're talking about 2 freshmen on the right side of the line. What if you put Gaston at right tackle, but then you took Dontrell Glover and Micah Morris and flipped them? Do you think they should do that, where that way you don't have 2 true freshmen? Or do you think don't mess up the left side and just do it?
Depends on what they've been doing in practice with those guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
And depends on we think of it as, hey, like that, what you're saying. You're thinking, let's put experience versus that. Let's do these things.
Right.
But you've got freshmen who have been there. Granted, they've been there however long they've been there. But now do you change their mental clock? Now you change their sort of first step, like that.
Because
those are things where
so it's a different
depending upon what you've done from a rep standpoint in practice. Have you been working them already both sides? Like that, like Glover specifically. Like if you've been doing that, then okay, maybe. But typically you got the young guys come in. It's like, hey, learn this spot and learn it really well. and then we'll figure out stuff later as you get comfortable here. So I wouldn't make too much movement there. Bo Hughley is one that he obviously came in and kind of stabilized that at least for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And watching him over the first few games and the reps that he's gotten, he's very solid in pass pro. Now he did get whipped once, and Gunnar had to check the screen down really quick, but he's solid in pass pro. Run blocking is where his issue is, and you can see he just doesn't have enough booty, honestly. I mean, if you look at him and just watch him and how he plays. But yeah, so that's that. That is funny. The comment that you brought up there, Harrison. That was.
Has he?
No, I will say that I have saved the clip because his face is priceless. So fellas, we did a who can make the playoffs pod early before the season, and in the SEC, I had every team but 2. Or he had 13, I think, that could potentially make the playoff. And I said, there's one more. I said, Vandy to me is one that could, and he just starts making a face and giving me crap to no end about what are you crazy? And I'm like, hey, what if they actually get better?
Yeah.
And and they have, and their offense has evolved. Like and for me, I'm a run game nerd to no end. I love watching teams that do unique things, like the stuff that Purdue did against Notre Dame, where they run inside zone, then the guy throws it out to the quarterback. That like Dan Casey showed and a bunch of other guys showed. That stuff is just gorgeous to me. And right now, Vanderbilt, the blend of things that they do in the run game, like I've talked to a bunch of various coaches in and around the country that I know. I'm like, hey, if you're not watching this, you can add 2 or 3 things to your playbook that from them that you need to take. And there's some more things off of that you can do. But anyway, yeah.
Awesome. Hey, Brent, before you get out of here, we know you got to go. Thank you so much for coming on. Got to hear your prediction about the game. Well,
wait, before we hit that,
I got time, by the way.
To go off with that.
Oh, I thought you had to go. I thought you had hard out at 8:30. I'm sorry.
And I think I know the answer to this. Before we get to predictions, I wanted to ask you this, and I think I know the answer because I think you already talked about it, but I'll ask it anyways. Georgia wins this game if padlock stat. This is the padlock stat, as they say. You can only look at this one stat, and this tells you Georgia wins if. What is it?
Simpson is 50% ish on first down.
Eddie?
I didn't know that was going to be kicked to me.
I don't know. Why not?
I thought this was strictly for the doc. I just was going to lay back and let him.
If you got to take, you might as well. But yeah, okay. I was wondering if it was going to be something with first down, but I was curious.
Well, Steve, Brent's so
the running game one is easy, by the way. The running game.
Yeah, I was going to say we win the running game, we win the game. That's what I was going to say because I'm a simple, stupid thug fan. That's just me. I'm not an analyst.
And it's which one's cause effect? Like, okay, maybe you scored early, so you ran more to protect the lead. That's typically how that goes. Right. So teams that typically win the running game, they do because they're leading. So there's that, but. Does Georgia get more than 3 sacks?
That's what I was going to say. 3 sacks, we win the game.
That might be one to look
at. I feel like even 2 put you in a good position. Just considering past years, and with what the pass rush has been so far, it feels like if you just get 2, you feel pretty all right about it.
Who throws the first pick? Because forgive me if I'm wrong, but Ty and Gunnar, neither of them have a pick, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
It's one of those. It feels like when you ask that question, it feels like you're doing Wheel of Fortune, because when at the very end of Wheel of Fortune, they give you R, S, T, L, N, and E, right? And then you pick letters. So it's like turnovers. Do they get a special teams touchdown? What are the R, S, T, L, N, E's of football game picking?
Let's
get those out of the way. I like now. Let's pick other things.
Yeah.
All right. Before we hit predictions, I guess right before that, I know we talked about him briefly before. Just overall thoughts on Gunnar Stockton coming into this game, because I think across the nation, the narrative has changed around that young man.
It has.
more so than any other quarterback in college football right now. Maybe other than realistically speaking, because Arch Manning, obviously, you got the people who said he was the Heisman now thinking, oh man, he's going to be lucky if he's, an above average quarter. So leaving that out. But Gunnar Stockton went from a guy that the 5.1 air yards per pass was being blasted all over every graphic to now he went on the road in front of 100,000 screaming, Tennessee fans and helped Georgia win that game. Where are you at with Gunnar Stockton, not only for this game coming into it, but for the rest of the year? Because I think through the first 2 games, I think a lot of us were like, ooh, I was like, there needs to be a large step before you can even talk about, hey, he could go win you some games deep into January. But where are you at right now? Not only going to this game for the rest of the year.
I still think you're going to win with him. I mean, now the one throw that he made, you kind of won because of him.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of other pieces. And really, I think the 2 throws, the first throw of the game to Colby Young, and then obviously the one to Humphreys. I was scared to death on the 2-point play because it looked like he was throwing it too late, that Branch was going to end up like out of bounds.
Or was going to get tipped.
But I think you could tell in the Tennessee game much more so than that's a great point. Much more so than the first 2 games, that he knew his own limitations and he worked around them. Like on the Branch TD, the screen pass that Branch took to the house. He altered he raised his arm up, like he didn't give his normal throwing motion. He raised it up higher because he saw the defender coming. So he altered that a little bit. So that's working around to me versus hey, I know I'm fast. I'm just going to get the ball out quick and beat it there. I think he kind of knows now I need to do certain things because I don't throw the ball. Like the ball doesn't come out as quickly as others. So that was a little step there. The other part is he just got destroyed multiple times. And by the way, he's going to get hurt. Not I guess get hurt, but he's going to get hit hard in these games because of the mental clock not necessarily being as quick as it needs to be. But he just keeps playing.
Yep.
He just keeps playing. And that's endearing. Teammates love it. Like there's a reason, all those guys talk after the game that he's a dog, that sort of stuff. Because of that. And he stands in there and takes it and keeps playing.
He can take a shot.
I feel a lot better about him just because of the comfort level that he showed in that environment. And it's one of those where maybe I did get it right from the counterpoint perspective. I don't know if you guys saw that on the event where I was like, hey, maybe the kid was just wanted to be the quarterback his entire life, had his first 2 games at home against opponents that he knew he should, go put up stats against, and was just nervous. And then became afraid in the moment to make mistakes. And then he goes on the road and it's like, okay, now I got to just play. Yeah. And he just played. And if he's going to do that and get that sort of off his shoulders now and just go do those things, have at it.
Is he good enough to win a national championship?
Oh, that's a really hard question. Why'd you ask that one?
It's the question. It's the money question, Brent. This is your third down question.
Did you think Carson Beck was good enough to win a national championship, Brent?
Yes, until he wasn't.
Okay.
Once the SEC championship game in 23 happened, I was I may have not necessarily been out, but that game was one that I thought he had deer in the headlights in that game.
Yeah.
But so my answer to that question is yes, as long as Colby Young, Zachariah Branch, and Noah Thomas are healthy throughout the entirety of the season. I like all the weapons. I like everything around him. So that's why I would lend towards saying yes.
And he's going to get better as well. The more he plays, the better he's going to get. He's going to get his instincts will pick up. So his timing's going to be better. All those things.
I would caution against that being a linear thing. I think you might have 2 steps forward, 1 down, 2 or 3 steps up, maybe a little bit down. I think you're going to see a little bit of that. especially in the road games. Like at Auburn right now, that game's going to be something else. Tech's going to be by the way, Tech might be 11-0.
Yeah, they're going to be 11.
I think they're going to be undefeated when we play them.
And I'll give you credit, Brent. You put that out on Twitter in July asking that question, and there were some stones being thrown at glass houses.
I said, would they be? I said, there's a world where they're 10-1 going into that game. Well, they beat
the one loss.
They beat the one loss I thought would be on there. So
yeah,
they just got to put. They have to. And the reason I said that is because of Philo. Not because of Haynes King. Like if Haynes King plays, I feel confident in them winning games. But because of Philo's good enough to win as a backup when King gets hurt, because I think that's a win, not if.
Because he will, yeah.
So yeah, that's I feel okay about Gunner mainly because of everything around him.
Good.
All right. Well, we gave you your third down question. Now let's go to the fourth down. Let's predict this game. And I know over on UJSports.com, the predictions article comes out on Friday. Let's not hold Brent to this. He is able to flip during the week if he feels the need to flip during the week. Going to be honest, people may not like the prediction I'm about to give in terms of where I'm at in this game. But Brent, I guess I'll put you on the spot first. How do you see this game going?
Very similar to last year, but maybe not as high scoring, and not in the manner that it happened. Not in the, somebody's up 3 touchdowns and the other comes roaring back.
Let's not do that again.
Type manner that was we've already got that game out of the way with Tennessee.
Yeah,
but I do think it's a 30-27 type game, 34-31, just because I think both teams are explosive. That have really good players that are going to score.
Yeah.
And I'm going to actually, at this point, my lean is the home night crowd that I want to say I saw where they haven't lost at home at night since like 2009.
Ooh,
wow.
Did I see that right?
That is correct.
But to be fair, not a lot of night games, right? We don't have a lot of night games.
We don't have a lot, but still.
Hey, and we get to point back to a C-Ball, Get Ball podcast moment from the spring where we had Gary Danielson on, and he talked about the night game with Notre Dame being the loudest he's ever heard a stadium.
Yeah.
So don't tell Tennessee fans that.
Eddie, who you got? Go ahead.
Well, I agree with Brent. I think this is going to be like the blackout game against Auburn. The place is going to be absolutely nuts. It's going to be the loudest we've ever heard, but I'm going to go against the grain here, Brent. I know you're probably going to spank me for this, but everybody's saying high scoring, going to run it up. Athletes everywhere.
In a row.
I think it's going to be lower scoring than everybody thinks, and I'm going to say 20-17. Sorry, Bama wins this game. Until I see it, I don't believe it. It's like the Falcons winning anything. I don't believe it unless I see it. Bama, they run out with that number on their helmet. It's just in Kirby's head. What is he, 1-8? 1-9? I can't remember the record.
I think it's 1-7
or 1-6. It's not good. Whatever. And Kalen DeBoer is the coach. I understand it's not Nick Saban, but I got to see it to believe it. Bama wins this game. I hate to admit it. And you know what? It's okay. That's not a death knell. That's the good thing.
No.
I think Georgia has to win this game. I don't think there's like you said, it's not a death knell. It's not.
But I think they have to win this game.
Yes, I think Kirby Smart and everybody in that over there at Buttsmere, all those players know they have to win this game. I know Alabama is the boogeyman for the Georgia Bulldogs. For whatever reason, they are the boogeyman. But this Saturday night at 7:30, they're going to tee that ball up, and between the hedges, Kirby Smart's going to steal a line from John Wick. Kirby Smart's going to be Baba Yaga. They're going to win, and they're going to win very, very comfortably. I think we win by 2 scores. I think Georgia scores 34. Bama somewhere in the 21-24 range. I think we win by 2 scores.
I should have made Andy go last because now we're going to end it on a bad note.
That's okay.
I'm with Eddie on this. Until I see it, I can't predict it to happen in good faith. I'm taking Bama 24-20 in this game. And until I see it again, Brent, I'm not going to let predicting against Bama ruin my record.
Totally get it.
Have an awful record. I think it's a
I'll
close
probably
one.
flip by Friday anyway.
I'm curious because this is the first real game where I'm like, the whole majority of the staff could pick the opponent to win.
Yeah.
So We will see.
I want to say it's only happened twice in all the years I've written for the site.
Twice.
That I've picked.
Was it Bama both
against
times?
No, one was LSU in 2019. I wasn't.
God,
there was
yeah,
no
anybody.
shot.
Yeah,
I was picking LSU that game. Outside of maybe Bama in 2020. I picked Bama in 2020 with Mac Jones and Waddle.
Yeah.
So like I said at the top of the show, we're not holding Brent's feet to the fire here. He has full control to flip that pick. So maybe don't, if you want to ride with Brent on a bet, don't make it right now.
I would never do that.
Yeah, do it later in the week if you're going to do it at all. But anyways, that's going to wrap it up for tonight's edition of the Peach State Power Hour. We appreciate our friend Brent Rollins, by the way, as he said during the show. If you want to get Film Don't Lie, subscribe to UGAsports.com. Tonight, or right now is a great time to do so. You sign up at UGA Sports right now, you get your first week for $1 as a bonus. Your membership includes a complimentary year of The Athletic. I am sure there will be a Film Don't Lie on the Georgia-Alabama game, win, lose, or draw. I think that's pretty much given at this point with how big this game is. You can also catch your column's called The Doctor's Diagnosis, if I believe right. That comes out every Sunday.
I mean, I kind of structured it that way. I mean, I've put Sunday Reflections in the title, but I do it like a soap note, like you do in the medical field. Subjective, objective assessment plan. Yes.
You can catch that
He's
there.
already like over my head. I mean, I just like
the medical field from the doctor. So.
Yeah, you know how they do in the medical field, right?
Yeah, whatever. Everyone knows.
Yeah, sure.
It's just a way to take notes.
You can catch the written content there, and then you can also get Brent multiple times a week. I don't know what the daily schedule is or what that
Monday,
schedule is like.
Wednesday, and then Saturday night.
I put that in the comments. Get the link to See Ball, Get Ball. By the way, you get David Pollock. I don't know if there's a better consolation prize to watching Brent than getting David Pollock as well. So you can go see him and Brent Rollins break it down each and every week over there. Brent, we appreciate you for doing this. We build it as the best preview in the Georgia space. I think it's lived up to that. I certainly learned quite a bit tonight. And he's not kidding about him loving the run game. He sent me some clips from when he was coordinating. He does indeed love to run the football. That is no lie. Anyways, folks, we'll be back here next Sunday, live at 7:30. That's Andy Stowe.
After a big win by the Dogs. After the Dogs win and beat Alabama.
Hope you guys are right. I want them to be right.
That's Brent Rollins. You can catch him. Film Don't Lie, See Ball, Get Ball, UGAsports.com, and on Twitter. We appreciate y'all. We'll see you next week.